The Imperial Guard originated from the Guard of the Directorate. This guard unit was created to protect the state institutions in Paris and was not a battlefield formation. When Napoleon became consul in 1799, the Guard changed its name in Consular Guard and began to expand dramatically from 2,000 men to almost 10,000 men in 1804. In 1804, Napoleon became emperor, and his guard forces would henceforth be known as Imperial Guards. As Napoleon was an ardent campaigner, his guard forces would follow him during his conquests. From 1804 onwards, his Imperial Guards changed from being a bodyguard into a force in the field under his direct command. To enter the two existing guard regiments, a soldier or officer had to have at least 8 years of service and a written attestation of bravery and good conduct. Napoleon wanted to create an elite force of selected men. The elite guards were not only better paid and dressed than ordinary soldiers, but they were also exempt from corporal punishment and addressed by the polite vous. Entry into the guards was purely based on military merit, not social background or wealth. The guards were in that sense a very modern unit, in an age where it was common for would-be officers to buy a commission into the army, and for common soldiers to be subject to abuse and negligence. The guards were also known for their very strict discipline, but this was partly part of their requirements to be admitted. These were experienced soldiers who would know the drill. The campaign in Germany in 1805 was the first time the guard was gradually committed in battle. Although Napoleon was careful only to commit his guardsmen at the very moment they could sway the battle in his favor. Often battle reports would be concluded by the phrase that the guard was not committed, which meant that the battle was won without having to use the guards. In Germany, the guards established their fame by defeating the Russian Imperial Guards at Austerlitz in 1805, and they reversed the fortunes during the Battle of Eylau in 1807 by a daring bayonet charge. After its foundation, the Imperial Guard continued to expand dramatically, a tripling in 5 years to 30,000 men in 1809. The Guard would in this period also expand its branches and comprise units of cavalry and artillery. This expansion was possible by the lowering of standards. The Guards were subdivided into an old, middle and young Guard. The Middle Guard was created in 1806 and the Young Guard in 1808. The Middle and Young Guard did not have the required 10 years of experience yet, and therefore they would be committed to battle more often than the revered Old Guard. The Old Guard was the most prestigious part of the Imperial Guards. They sported a moustache and long hair. They also wore 2 golden earrings and often dyed their hair grey or white to actually look old. It should be noted, however, that most regular guard soldiers were in their 30s or 40s, not really grey-haired grandpas. The Old Guard was the most intimate and trusted of all guards forces of Napoleon, and they could even complain in front of him, which gave them the nickname Old Grumblers. In 1810, Young Guard units were sent to Spain, and this was a break from tradition that only Napoleon himself would direct guard units on the battlefield. The Guards didn't play any significant role during the Russian campaign, however, but they suffered like the rest of the so-called Grand Army. Nevertheless, the Guards tripled again in 5 years to 90,000 men in 1813. This was again achieved by lowering the standards of recruitment. Raw recruits, which fitted the required height standards, were directly admitted in the Young Guard. The Imperial Guard became, in other words, an army within an army. Despite the expansion of the Guards to more than 110,000 men in 1814, the Corps could not reverse Napoleon's setback. Ironically, the Guards' expansion into a mass army coincided with the downfall of Napoleon, especially after defeat in Russia in 1812. Standards were lowered, and the expansion of the empire meant drafting of foreign recruits, which were reluctant to serve. The Guards more and more resembled the regular French army. The collapse of an Imperial Guard unit on the battlefield of Waterloo in 1815 sent shockwaves through the French ranks, which subsequently broke and ran. The Imperial Guard Corps was founded as an elite in the modern sense. Soldiers were selected on the basis of military merit. Initially, they were carefully deployed on the battlefield as a crack force. Eventually, they became a mass army as a result of lowered standards. Only the Old Guard remained a true elite. They also skimmed off the cream of French recruits. Despite their above-average quality, their expansion did not result in better French battlefield performance. The Old Guard remained Napoleon's most trusted unit. They covered the retreat at Waterloo in 1815 and escorted him in exile at Elba in the same year. They remained always a true elite, even in the modern sense. If you like my content, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell to get notifications for new content.